I'm gonna post the general channel. Yeah, Jim Gray jumped in yesterday at 4 o'clock, thinking it was yesterday.
Mm.
A little bit quiet on that. Hey, Clay. Just doing some last minute adjustments here.
Started?
Yeah, we are live. Waiting on let's see, Clay's in there.
Um,
Yeah, I know. I know.
but
Clay is this thing.
oh,
I just said hey, Clay.
but it's not. I don't see it on Facebook.
Uh, Clay's on Facebook. Do a refresh of your page. You should see a post come up. Scroll down a little bit. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so is Clay gonna on for Facebook now?
Yeah, and I don't think it matters. The streams are identical on both, but you could watch the other one if you want.
So is Clay gonna post here if there's something for you to respond to? Yeah.
No, well, if it's out of channel, I guess you could. I don't. I'm not. It's gonna be
Oh,
hard
do you
to.
see all the comments here
Yeah.
from both channels?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's freaking awesome.
Yep.
I didn't realize that. Okay, I don't even have Facebook on. That's
Doesn't matter. But it doesn't tell me how many people are in what channels. Let's see, chat, destinations. Yeah, we got pictures. Let's see. See two people viewing the Facebook channel and one person viewing the YouTube channel.
So none of our users yet. Then.
Yeah, I don't know who the two people viewing the Facebook channel are.
One would be me. Yeah,
There's Dark One. The lighting conditions have changed in my office once again, so different chroma key values on my chair, so we're just going to roll with it. Hmm? Yeah. So the irony would be if GM Greg didn't show up for this session. We're waiting people to come on in. Do is here. Okay. So I want to see dark in there. One, drop in and drop back out. Just going to wait a few more minutes. It might only be a dark one, but Clay, you were saying GM Greg dropped in yesterday at 4, right? Thinking it was Saturday.
Yeah, he did. We are going to post it anyway.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, just lost the video stream. There we go. Is your feed not working there, Dark? When he does chat messages? Let me see if there's any settings that we have that affect that. Are you on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see if your messages
Did mine come through? I just put a test one out there. It's your bottom. Yeah, mine came through.
Oh, okay.
There's Darks.
Yep, there's you. Okay, got it. Oh, good. We'll get a couple of minutes, but it might be just an exclusive video feed to Dark. Yeah, we're going to record and post this. Of course, we'll edit out all this mark time here. And people may drop in. I realized that we didn't really specify Eastern Standard Time very well.
Oh,
And it may be that people assumed different time zones. What time zone are you in, Dark?
no, it's not listed as Eastern.
It is, or isn't it?
It is.
It is? Okay, it does say Eastern.
But yeah, people get busy and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably do a couple of different versions of this. And the way we got this set up right now is I have a whole blank brand new world to start with, but I didn't really know what we would be doing as far as people customizing an existing world or starting from scratch with a brand new world. So yeah, I was gonna sort of roll with it during this. So what's your situation, Dark? Are you starting from scratch or are you editing something existing? Respond.
Yeah, interesting. I don't see this post on Facebook. So it's coming through here.
Yeah, it is interesting. I don't know. He's trying to import the PDF rules and he needs help with making a character sheet. Which game system?
PF1.
PF1 rules. I'm sorry, Pathfinder 1 rules. I said PF.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So what, tell me, then, what are your blockers? So I'm trying to like focus in on where to actually start. Why am I doing soccer posts?
So, yeah, coding.
Okay. Then, okay, so let me ask then, do you already have a template set up and table set up and the actual game system sort of kind of started for Pathfinder? Also, I might suggest that if the only person that we're going to be talking to is Dark, we could just not do this format and switch over to Discord and just simply talk with him. Because then it doesn't make sense to actually do this. Okay, so you've got some of the tables. Okay. Then what about, you have tables, and then do you have any of the template part set up? Not the HTML part of it, but just the basic game system template? Okay. Yep. Go ahead and share the world. And do you mind if I put that on? Okay. The answer to that last question was no. Do you mind if I go ahead and share this live? Okay. 1 second. And what is the name of the world that I'm looking for here? I don't see anybody else joining this. We're just going to give it a few more minutes. And again, if it's still just, oh, we got 5 active people here now. If anybody else is in the channel, go ahead and wave at us so we know you're there. Sunless Twilight. Let me go ahead and give me a second. Find that.
There it is.
See it? There it is. Okay, this is Sunless Twilight here. We're going to go to the game system. I see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 tables here, 5 tables. And then we got a character sheet. Let me go back to that. Go back one. Character sheet under development and a new template. All right. Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to check to see who else we've got. Yeah. Let's just wait a few more minutes. We'll just keep going with what we got. What did you say, Ron?
Sorry, I'm just making sure that. Okay, good.
Yep. All right, so I'm just kind of taking a look at what you got here, Dark. You got one character using this character sheet, and let's take a look at this character sheet. All right. This is your character sheet. You've got your base info. Let's see what's under that. Character name, race, size, all the basic information. It's in there. Ability scores, strength, dexterity collection. Let's see. We've got strength, dexterity. How we've got these set up: number, expression, and text. Let's just look at one of your strength modifiers. Okay. So what we have here is your strength, STRC, okay, for strength core. All right. So your strength modifier is your strength core minus 10 divided by 2, standard D&D-ish type strength modifier, and it's the same down the line for dexterity, constitution. Let's see. No, the camera's in the way of my screen. All right. Okay. All right, just kind of getting a handle on what you've done here. Trying to get something to show in map. Okay. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and see what happens when we try to put it on a map before we go farther. Go to scenes and players. Which one should I use? Blackened Forest or the Riverstone? Yes. Answer is yes to that. We will keep the stream going. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Okay, so black.
All right. I get a lot of questions about why does it say 100? Well, if SceneGrinder can't immediately figure out how many objects are in the scene because of network conditions or whatever, it just guesses at 100 and assumes it'll get the right value as it comes down the pipe, which is why you see that. It's better than just sitting there doing nothing. Okay, so we have, oh, hello there.
Hey. Oh.
Okay, so I'm assuming this little guy right here is the, hello, right past him, is our test character in question. Urleno. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at him. And we have nothing. Okay, we have zero, nothing here. This is not very exciting. And this is because there's no actual character sheet set up to view this character. So we have two kinds of views in SceneGrinder. We have the data view, and then we have the character view. The character view is a customizable HTML view onto the character data. But I'm going to switch to the data view because that's always there by default. All right, so now we're going to go look at the basic info, base info. All right, and we got some interesting default values here. Some character name. We already know the character name, but so this is one of those cases. Did we really need a character name in the base info because the character's name is automatically assumed by SceneGrinder? A character name is the one attribute that we assumed every character would have no matter what game system you're in. So we didn't really make that a requirement of your customizable data, but it's up to you guys. Player name. I don't know why this came out zeros here. At one time, these may have been numerical values. When it switched, maybe, who knows. Let's see. And all right, so race is just type in for now. I know you're going to want to attach that to a drop down. For now, we'll just go some race. Okay. We'll just do. Okay, so all right. So far, Dark, is this what you would expected to have seen? Yeah, that's old. Okay, gotcha. It was from an old attempt. That's fine. Understood. So we have a basic character, not very exciting, up and around in the world. Yep. And so even though he's not attached to anything special except for some very generic data, he is a legitimate character in the world. So where do you want to go? Again, when you click on a character, it brings up the HTML view at first. We need to add a little switch in here to go, hey, if you don't have an HTML view, stop trying to go here by default. Go use the data view until you have an HTML view. And that's coming very soon. It's in our short list. All right, so where do you want to guide us from here? Where do you want your most guidance? Is it in setting up the HTML view so you can get custom? How do you want us to go from here? And just letting you guys know, if you're not used to watching live streams, there is a 3 to 8 second delay between when I see chat messages and respond to it, and then you hear my response to those messages. So sometimes it seems a little disjointed, we thought it weird until we watched some other video casts, and oh, that's normal. So okay. So Dark would love examples of on each sections, but in a character view, in the HTML view or in the data view, where do you need the most help? Setting up the actual data structure of your character, or the how your character is represented in HTML for tables?
I would definitely demo pulling in something from a table.
Yeah, and it does look, so walk through connections both. Okay, so let's start with there's no reason we can't start putting up a simple character view for one of these attributes or something like that, just to give him something. Oh, tables to link to sheets. All right, so let's switch. Let's do a table. Ron was over here saying the same thing, and
hey, if you guys hear me talking, this is A-Bar. I'm right next to Jerry.
Sorry for clicking on the link of Arnold Schwarzenegger walking onto a stage with partially clothed. I don't know, whoever that is. All right, then tables in sheet. So let's look at your character view again. I'm going to switch over. I'm going to pull this up on a different monitor. 1 second. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get on Reddit these days.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could do like the simple, like race options or something like that.
Yeah. And I'm going to go to game system. So let's look at your races table. Let's see. All right. I see. Yep. Okay. So here's all your races. All right. Lots of races. So one of the things I'm going to do here is mark your, let's see. Why am I not getting, 1 second. I'm not getting the normal, make sure I have permission to view this table. You're saying this is an old table?
You're not the GM. You have to be the owner.
Oh, okay. So one thing that's happening here, if you see this message, this table is in a deprecated format. You must upgrade it before continuing. That's because between the time you created this table and now, we have drastically upgraded how tables work. They're smarter, they're easier to edit. So let me go ahead and actually do that for you, if you don't mind. I'm going to upgrade this table. And it's done. And it marked this as your key column. And if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and just call this name, because it's the name of the race. No, this is language. What table are we in? Languages or race? Hold on. Let me do this. I may have clicked on the wrong table. There, Dart. Language list. Okay, I think I did. Let's go back to find races. Yeah, I did. So I apologize for that, but that table's been upgraded. Hey, races. Here we go. Dwarf, elf. No, okay, that looks like a little saner list of races. So, all right, this table also needs to be upgraded, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, and we really don't need this double column here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this column as the key, and I'm going to remove this column. All right, so that way you don't have this annoying redundancy in your tables. So does all this look pretty straightforward? Just kind of dealing with tables. Now, while we're looking at the table editor, one of the improvements that we did make, you can import a CSV file and export a CSV file. So and this is a lot more convenient to use, but it is not Excel and it is not Google Sheets. So you guys can make your tables in whatever your favorite spreadsheet is you want, and then export it as CSV, and then you can import it into SceneGrinder. Oh, yeah, I'm running on localhost right now, and L Pigeon, you said local hose, which is funny as hell. Um, yes, yes. No, it won't make a difference because this is matching test, and here probably this evening we're going to push some of these fixes and features out to the live server. We're probably going to just get more aggressive about pushing our new features out there anyway. Um, so yeah. So yes, Hell Pigeon, I am running on local hose, but it won't make a difference. I just have to give him shit. All right, so we got two tables here, and we're gonna wire these up um, so that they work in the template. And so I'm gonna go out of here, and I'm gonna choose character sheet under development. And I'm not completely familiar with Pathfinder or this template, so if I make mistakes, please forgive me. But it does look down here, we have a race attribute, and our goal here is to connect this race attribute to that table. So rather than the players just having to type in the race, they can just hit a drop down and choose the right race. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. We don't have a way to dynamically change the type of an attribute field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new one and then delete that. Then I'm going to go here, I'm going to go up to this basic area. I'm going to go here and around my camera. Camera is perfectly in the way. I'm going to hit choice. Okay. And down here we have new attribute. I'm going to rename this one race old. And I'm going to go to this new attribute, call this again race and race. So what's going on here, if you're reviewing this video and you're looking at these attribute configuration fields, every attribute can have a basic English name, easily read name. Then it's got an ID. And the ID is always uppercase or under bars, and it's the way SceneGrinder identifies the field. But then you can have whatever you want it to be, human readable in some other field. And this shows up in the data view, and it can optionally show up in your character view. But the difference between these two fields, the old one and the new one, the old one is just a type in text value. So it's the simplest field you can have in SceneGrinder. The new one is a choice, and the expected place to get the choice of races to pick in this case is the table, and we're just going to pick one of the tables that Dark's already created, and one is the races, and that is the upgraded table that we just saw. And that should really be all we need to do. And now I'm going to go over to the live version. And I'm going to try not to hit the wrong key when I do it. All right, so here we are. And I'm going to pull up the character. And again, we don't have a character view set up. So I'm going to go to the data view. And let's see here. And I get immediate error because probably swapped data out from underneath it. We're not handling it very gracefully. That big red arrow that you just saw wouldn't appear live. That's only because I'm in development. There we go. Okay, so I'm not sure. Oh, languages here. Where is our? Let's see. Let me choose.
It's under me.
Base info. There we go. And because we never new attribute maybe. Hold on, some of these down here. Race, beauty, alignment. Gotta find it. It shouldn't have to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway because I'm not seeing the new attribute that we created. 1 second. I'm just checking to make sure. Oh, hold on. I see the problem. It's because what happened right there is I tried to make an attribute both named race and it didn't like it. Let's see, races. I'm just going to name this race old. I might just go ahead and delete it, but let's just try it now. What's that? Right. Oh, keep doing that. All right. All right, let me go ahead and see what's going on here. I am just going to go ahead and refresh it. Although the fact that you have to refresh that, it should not be the case, but we're rolling with it right now. I'm going to make sure over my other monitor that we are seeing the changes. Now it does not like having 2 race values in there, so I'm going to go ahead and delete the other race for right now. Give me 1 second. This is not taking this value. Let me check the table that's attached to. 1 second. Races. Let's see. Okay, we've got a good table ID. We'll go over here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I have a little problem setting up this new race in here, and it keeps coming in this new attribute. I'm going to delete it and try again. Okay, and it's gone. So go over here and choose choice. Dark, I'm wondering if I don't have full permissions to edit this template for whatever reason. It's not letting me change the value once it's in place. Let me try to change it here. Go out. Yeah, it's not picking up the change on those. So let me delete it. Let's go ahead and make another change over here just to see if I actually have permissions to change this template. No, it's not letting me change your template here, Dark. I'm not sure why. Yeah, that's a good question. Would it be better to start from scratch? Let's go ahead and do that. Do you want to use a do you want to do this in your account, or do you want me to switch over to? I do have a Scratch world set up in a demo area. No, it shouldn't matter if you're in it. You can have, as long as you have multiple in it, and that very well may be the case. I don't know exactly when you you made this template, but it might be old enough that we got some underlying data values. Yeah, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if you're in there. You can be in there, and I can be in there at the same time. It wouldn't conflict, I don't believe. But hey, you know what? Let's test it. I'm all for that. So I just changed it. Going out. Coming back. No, it didn't make a difference. Okay, all right, but let's go ahead and you want to just go ahead and create a new world in your account and then share me to it. And we'll go ahead and wait for you to do that, or we can switch over to a custom to the one we set up for this. But since I think you're the only one here, yeah, let's do that. Go ahead and create a new world. Name it whatever you want. You don't have to do much with it, and then just go ahead and share me into it, and we'll start with that. And I'm really curious to find out whether that was indeed the problem. So I've been doing setup all day and had no problems with this. So I kind of think that might be the problem. Good deal. Do we have any other old worlds that people are using? Or Dark, we may end up using this as a test to see what's going on with that particular, why older character templates don't work. Maybe it's been a long time since we as a team have messed with the older versions of the worlds. But we'll also check real quick to make sure we don't have the same problem for some reason. As you can see here, guys, I am shared into a great many worlds, which has pointed out the fact that we need to find a better way to organize worlds. But world somewhere, is that the name of the world? I don't see it yet. I don't think I'm shared into it. Need it. That works live. If I could spell world, that'd be better. Okay, what's the name of the world that you shared me into? Just because I have so many, it's hard to hard to identify them. Oh, somewhere. Literally the word somewhere. Gotcha. All right. And this is a brand new one? Soon. And I'm just going to add some races in here real quick. Just 3 to start out with. Okay. You said yes, is a new world. I'm going to set this as the key column. All the tables, in order to be useful to any degree, unless they're reference tables, needs to have a key column that is a unique column within all the rows that SceneGrinder can count on being there. And if you did try to set a key column to something that didn't have unique values, it would kind of complain at you and say, nope, can't do that. All right, so then I'm going to go out here and I'm going to create a template. Actually, yep, we're going to call it character. And we're going to, let's just erase these entirely. And we're going to start with a new collection. I don't remember what you had your general collection called before, but we'll just call it general. And just because of the problems we had before, I'm going to refresh just to make sure that sticks. Okay, that's a good sign. It stuck. All right, so I'm going to create a choice attribute in here. And we're going to call this race. And races, no, erase, okay. And again, just because of the problems we had before, I'm just going to make sure that sticks because I'm a little superstitious about it now. All right, cool. That's a good sign. All right, so now that we have our race, it's a choice. I'm going to pick the races, drop down, and there we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a new scene here. I can't use this scene anymore, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to find somewhere. I'm going to go somewhere. All right, somewhere. I like the period in somewhere. It gives it a bit of finality. All right, so I'm going to create a scene. Don't have any scenes. Add a scene. And we're just going to create a blank scene on a boring green grass field. And I'm going to put a character in here. And there's my character. I picked the character. I'm going to add this to the scene. There he is. Okay, so again, we have a blank character view. And we're going to go here. And somewhere around here is general. Again, I'm having to lean over to look around my camera. All right. So now in our data view, again, we're looking at our data view, not our character view. I can choose race, dwarf, elf, and human. I'm going to choose elf. All right. So that was pretty quick and easy to hook up a new race. I apologize about the old template versus new template. Something SceneGrinder didn't like something about the new template. We're going to look into that and get that working. Unfortunately, that didn't happen in any of the old versus new that we've got going, at least in my account, and maybe even Hell Pigeons. But so we're going to use that one world. So don't delete that world yet, or don't do anything with that Pathfinder world that you have. We'll look into it and then push out a fix for that. That's interesting. That should have worked. So right now we just hooked up race to a drop down. How are you on that going on there, Dark? Six people on. Okay. So I think that was a thumbs up from Dark. Then let me just explain this little icon. If you had more information in that race table about the race, maybe a racial description and all about elves and all that kind of stuff, because it's marked as a reference table, clicking this would have given you a nice drop down of all that information. That's handy when you got things like spells or any other. SceneGrinder will pull that information forward and educate your players about it when they click this little icon. So what I think we should do is just add a couple more items to the template so that we have something to work with on the character view side. So I have a feeling that Dark's going to go, hey, can we go do that? So hold on, Ron's got a question.
Do you want to throw like a description in there in the race table?
Yeah, I mean, I could demo that. Let's see here. Let me go over here to the table. Ron asked if we want to put a description in there into that table just to see how that works. I'm going to go over to races, and I'm going to turn this B here over here into a description. Okay.
Oh, not sure.
Let's see. Yeah, no issues. Okay, good. All right. Let's talk about my table for race. Yep. So, all right, good. Yeah. All right. So I've got description over here. And now the whole reason this table is showing up with that icon, that information icon, is because this is marked as a reference table. That will show, I don't think you're seeing what I'm seeing here. Hold on. That is odd. Give me a second. Either my stream is frozen. I think my stream's frozen. Yeah, hold on. I think Stream has frozen my stream. I do not know why yet. Give me just a second. Let's see, broadcasting. It's thinking real hard. Okay, that's showing the one screen. So I'm going to switch over. There's quite a bit of lag. There we go. All right. We seem to have re-enabled our live. Dark, you guys see that? You see that over there, Ron? Okay. All right. So continuing down the road, I added a description field to this table, and
I did for a second. Now I don't. Refresh that.
Yeah, that's gonna. I wonder if the stream's locking up again. If it has, let's see. Oh, appears to be going. No?
No, it's blank on mine.
Hold on. Technical difficulties.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
All right, no, we're good. We're good. All right. Let's see. And Grumpy Dwarves. Yes, Dark, we're going to make up our own role-playing game with its own racial backgrounds and everything else. Hell with D&D, Pathfinder. So, all right, because this is marked as a reference table, that's what indicates that players can click on it and get the information that you type in here. So theoretically, let's see, let's see, go into data view, and I'm going to switch over here. Got way too many screens. Oh, no data found for ELF. All right, I'm going to go ahead. 1 second, and no, still not finding the data. All right, we'll work on that some other time. And that feature works, you guys would see all the data I just typed in, but it may be that I need to mark, there's a way to mark those fields as to show and not show. But we'll just move along on that. And that error might be the reason it didn't work. All right, let's jump over to the character view. Well, first, Dark, do you have any questions about other field types? Let's add some more attribute types to the character and then move on over to the character view. If you don't, if that's cool with you. No, thanks, Dark. We're in it with all feet and all hands and whatever other body part can contribute. So. I'm going to go ahead and add this. I'm going to add a section for attributes. That'll take a second to switch over. Yeah. Lags. Yeah. Go ahead and ask your questions there about your race table. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that before we get into the character view. Help engine. We'll see what Dark's questions are, though. The playback, I know on YouTube and Facebook are different. Some platforms show the chat, some don't. Hell Pigeon was just asking if we can set up some numeric attributes for demonstration purposes, and we'll do that here just shortly. But we're going to make sure that Dark has all his questions answered about the race table. Oh, did you see my question above? Let's see. Dark, it looks like it skipped the question above about the race table when our stream went blank. Unless someone else can see it and repaste it.
Let's talk about my table for race. Enter the data for other areas.
Yeah, so your race table, so apparently Dark asked, so he would list all the data for the races in there. And this is where you have to do a little bit of thinking about how you want to organize your data in your game system. And so we're following Pathfinder 1 here. But in general, yes, you would put all the data relative to any one race in that race's row. Now, if it gets really complex, you can use that data and look data up in other tables and pull that information in. So Dark is asking if all the information he inputted from the race table, would it be just a reference box, or could it be linked to other areas? Yeah, and you're about to see how that works. So all the information you put in a table, if you mark the table as a reference table, it does show all that information to the player. And later in future versions, we'll have the ability for the GM to mark certain things out so that they don't show up to the players in case that's the circumstance. So then the answer to the second part of the question is linking that data up. So the template has the ability to look up tabular information from other tables and use it in calculations, or just simply display it and that kind of stuff. So we're going to get into a little bit of that right now. I've created an attributes collection, and here we might want to talk a little bit about our naming convention here. What are collections? Collections are simply groups of other attributes. That's pretty much all they are. Why didn't we call them groups? I don't know. It's been a few years. But right now they're collections because they collect other attributes. So I'm going to, in this attributes collection, I'm just going to go ahead and add a simple numeric field. I know for Pathfinder, this would not be how you would do it, because Pathfinder's attributes have a core value and an expression derived off of it. Although we want to test expressions in this, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm changing my mind. I'm going to add another collection to this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to call this strength. str. And I don't remember exactly how you set up your value in your Pathfinder version, but this is going to be close, and you can just come back in here and change these values to what you want. So I'm going to add, I'm going to go ahead and add a numeric to this. This is going to be the core value for just strength. Not sure what you called it before. It was something like strength core, but we'll just call it, I think for this, so we can copy it over and over to the other values, we're just going to call this value, and that's just a numeric value. So we're going to just test with that for now. And let's see here. That is very annoying. So as you can see here on the character, yeah, I'll switch in a second. You have, let me wait till your stream catches up with my voice here. Unless it's frozen again.
There it is.
There we go. All right, so now the character looks like this. We have attributes, we have strength, and we have value. And the value can be any numeric value you want to type in here. Let's say we're going to put 14. All right, pretty simple, straightforward. Of course, that's not very useful for Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder type game systems where the value isn't really what you go by. There's a modifier attached to it of some kind. And I apologize if I use D&D terminology in other game systems. So let's see, base plus 10 point, base 10 plus points added. So I'm going to go back to, see the character sheet here, and I'm going to add a modifier to strength, and I'm going to click here and add an expression, and we're going to call this modifier. We're going to give it a short name of mod, and we're going to give it an expression. And this is going to be, let's see. Do you want to, Dark, you just want to copy and paste the expression from your other system where I can go grab it? Because I want this to be as close as possible here. I'll do that. Give me a second. And what was the name of the
Somewhere.
first world?
Oh no.
What was the name of the first world that the first Pathfinder world, Dark?
Not the search for dark.
Yeah. Sunless Twilight. Got it. Yep. Thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this express. Okay, we'll have to change this a little bit. That's all right. We're over here. We're going to paste that expression in, and we're going to change it to the new stuff we made out. I should have had the other tab open and just used your values, Dark. I am so sorry. But we're going to want to grab HDR for attributes, and we're going to want to grab strength. We already got that. We're going to want to grab value. So what we're saying here, this is standard spreadsheet type expression rules. We're going to take the mathematical floor of the strength value following the full path down, that is attribute, strength, and value. We're going to take 10 away from it and divide by 2. So let's see what that works out. Something looks a little off to me about that. I think, but we'll see. We'll try it. All right, but we got 2 values in there, and let's see what happens over here. And go to data view. So, and here we go. Now we have strength, value 14, modifier 2. And that should be accurate, I think. Let's see, -2 divided by 2. Yep, that looks right. Looks right to me. All right. And if it isn't, it's a good working example. So I'm going to go back to the template, and so now we have a working version of strength. I just want to show you guys a quick shortcut in that I deliberately made choices when I name these values here to keep them pretty generic. I used value and mod rather than strength value or strength mod. What that gives us the ability to do, though, is grab this strength, copy it, and that gives me an exact copy of it. And I'm going to go over here and do the same thing for dexterity, but the only thing that we need to do for this case is spell dexterity right, and then we're going to call this dex. But because I didn't refer to dexterity at all in here, the only thing that I need to do is change that to dex, and this should now be a perfectly working attribute. And so this modifier reaches up and refers to the value of dexterity. This modifier reaches up and refers to the value of strength, because the expressions are set there. So, and we're going to go see if my theory is correct. Normally you should not have to do screen refreshes to see these. All I did was go ahead and pull up the character again. And here we go. So now we have dexterity on there. We have a value of 0 giving us -5. Wonderful. But we're going to give this guy a dexterity of 16 with a modifier of 3. All right. Excellent. He said nice. That's what he's looking for. Okay. All right. Perfect. So there's a lot more you can go into templates. Templates can get they can reach down into other data. They can look values up from other tables and all that kind of stuff. So we're kind of grading ourselves Originally, we were a little naive, I guess. We had to keep extending the sophistication of templates to modify the role playing systems that were under our eyes at the time, but we keep discovering new and weird role playing systems which calculate things in ways we didn't expect on those kinds of things, or they look things up in certain ways that we did not expect. So we've had to extend it quite a bit, and we're never going to get them all. There may have to be workarounds to handle some cases, but we're getting darn close. One of our litmus tests was hero system champions, and we take a run at that every now and again, and we seem to be okay. One of the things we're missing in the features so far is dynamic lookups from tables based on expression values, but you'll have that in a few weeks. So so here we are. So Dark, do you want to go into character view, or do you want to keep proceeding with the template? Where's your questions leaning at this time? And let's see. Also going to set up one for Constitution. Can you explain check properties and how they work? The answer is yes. It might be, we are probably going to split up that into a second video and tutorial. These are intended to be multi-part. I know we're coming at it a little differently, but we may have that time. What we can do is, so would you rather do that, or would you rather see this in the character view first so you can start working on your HTML view side? Either way. Let's see. This is one thing that HP and I talked about, like having a sample table, making a link. How about making equipment and stuff like that? All right. So we can get into that. You're talking about like a drop-down table to select equipment, that kind of stuff? Okay. All right. So we'll go in the HTML direction, and so obviously, since these are role-playing games, none of this actually matters if you can't roll dice with the stuff that's on your character. And I'm just going to really briefly explain where you would go to do that, and then we're going to have more tutorials on doing that. But basically, you can take any of these things and mark them as the source of a check, and we settled on the word check to mean anything you can roll in any role-playing game system anywhere all over the world. I don't know if that was the right choice or not, but that's what we have. So we call that a check. So if we check one of these, there may be some other options you have to select, but it would turn this into a strength check, for instance. There are all kinds of other ways to go about that, other ways to decorate your character with checks. And I just also want to say that, let me pop up one level. The relationship between tables and templates and what they all mean in a role-playing game in SceneGrinder. The people ask us sometimes, well, where are the game rules? All right. Well, all the game rules are really encapsulated in the character template that you're making. The character template plus all the tables that you pull into the world equal the game rules for the role-playing game that you're dealing with. The thing is, you could also have, let me see, you can also have it, you can have one world handle multiple game systems if you really wanted to. But I want to point out that this is useful in, like, why, guys? Why did you do it that way? Well, D&D is a fantastic example of of where you have two different types of characters going on, because there are characters and then there are monsters, but monsters obey different rules. They have their own stat blocks. They have things like lair and CR rating and all that kind of stuff, and they're much simpler, at least they used to be, much simpler than standard D&D characters. So what do you do in that case in SceneGrinder? Well, in SceneGrinder, you would simply make another template. You would have down here a template for NPC or monster, because NPCs might be a third kind of template that you want to do. I know Hell Pigeon is always a big fan of that. And then you really have two templates, one for character, one for monster. The benefit there is, especially in systems, again, like D&D, but Pathfinder and all those have the same kind of issues, is where you don't want to enter near the amount of information and complexity that you would for a character. You're just trying to fill out a stat block. So in any one scene, you have characters running around. Your player characters are using the character template, and maybe even important NPCs in the world are using the character template. But everything else, goblins and the barkeep or whatever, or the person you have to make up real quick on the fly, can be using the monster template. Now, Hell Pigeon he's working on a kind of a middle ground version that would be an NPC, where it's not as important as a character and there's not all that information, but it's an easily populatable NPC with different information than you would ordinarily see in a monster stat block. The cool part about having that is filling in these characters can be table driven. We could set it up, and we fully intended doing this with D&D, is where there's a rogues gallery that you could drop down, automatically pick rogue number 4 or 10th level rogue number 4 or whatever, and it automatically populates everything with the character and drops it into your scene, and it pulls all that information from one of the tables that you have in SceneGrinder. Hell Pigeon is working on that, and he'll have that done tomorrow, right? I'm sure I'm correct on that. All right, so let's talk about character views. What is a character view? We're going to switch back over and briefly. Okay, so again, I'm going to stress that for character 1, we are looking at a data view. And a data view used to be the only view that we supported. We would take all the data that was in the template for we need one particular character, and we would lay it out here. And GMs had zero control, for the most part, of how it laid out here. But when we started putting together complex characters, we started coming to the conclusion that it was butt ugly. So we went a different way. In this case, we looked at other VTTs, Roll20, stuff like that, and said, wow, they had a pretty good idea there in allowing the world to make HTML views onto the character. HTML is pretty ubiquitous. So we did the can't beat 'em, join 'em in that particular area. And so we've given SceneGrinder the ability to represent all this structured information in an HTML character view. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And I fully didn't intend on getting into that in this particular session, but I'm happy to. And that will set up the next session pretty easily, or we may move these parts of this into the next session, or I might just reshoot it. So here we go. How do we set up a character view? I'm going to go back to out here and in just a second. I'm going to open up another browser here. Just got too many windows open. All right. So Dark is saying that he asked about converting a PDF to HTML. Is that possible? The way that would look, I don't know why my Chrome session isn't starting up here. 1 second. I'm trying to open up another version of Chrome and all it's doing is spinning, so give me a second. Let's try this. More than one way to skin a cat. I don't know what that's doing. It's not letting me log into Chrome. Yay, Google. All right, so now I'm going to go to so my phone thought I said, hey, Google. And it's asking me, oh, and I just did it again. Let's not do that. All right, so let me get back into our new world here and look for somewhere. Somewhere. Let's see. All right. Go ahead and switch to that now. All right, I'm going to go into the character template. And inside the character template, we have a completely unconfusing tab called character template. Apologize for that. You might want to name that something like HTML template or something like along the lines there. But here we have this blank area right here. And here's where you get to put in whatever HTML that you want to put in to represent the characters associated with this particular template. So I'm going to give us a top level div in here, and go ahead and let us know, Dark, if I say anything. I'm going to stick really basic so people watching this can follow along, but ask any questions you want along the way. And I'm going to just test the concept here by saying this is my character view. Okay, I'm going to go down here, and this extremely obvious button down here in the lower left called Save. I'm going to click that. That's going to save it. We used to have it auto-save, but we discovered that that was a recipe for making lots of mistakes and putting stuff in your HTML that you only find 4 weeks later and don't know why it's there. So I've saved that template. I'm going to, let's see, go back here, and we're going to go back into the scene. And let's see, did we delete that character that we were working with? Looks like we did. Let me pop back out, or I'm in the wrong scene. Go into somewhere. Themes and players, new location. There he is. Okay, I was just in the wrong scene. Okay, so when I pop up here, SceneGrinder goes, hey, look, there's a character view here. I'm going to use it. And here we have, this is my character view. So give me just a second. Dark, do you have any questions about what we just did? Let's see, things that would be great would be making an example section. It's got box with mod, skills, table, basic. Yeah, actually, when I went and I should have not skipped so fast over that part. When you create a template for the first time, it does do that. It creates an example set of attributes, strength and modifiers and stuff like that. And I went and deleted it for the purpose of getting down to bare bones to show what's going on with this tutorial. Probably should not have done that, and we should probably update that. It is very basic. We could extend that a little farther to be a little more comprehensive. The annoying part is it does the usual suspects: strength, intelligence, dexterity, wisdom, that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's the old school order for listing attributes. Sorry, I learned to play D&D before it was called D&D. But one of the problems there is if you're creating a game system that has nothing to do with that pattern, then you got to go ahead and delete it anyway. So I mean, that's okay. You can look at it, study it, and see what you need to do to go from there. But what do we do going from here? We're going to go back to our template here, and so the next question that anyone's going to ask is, well, that's fine and all, but how do I get specific character information into this view? What I'm going to do is go up here, and I'm going to create a tiny little section here called script. And we're going to, let me just go ahead and copy it from what I already have. 1 second, guys. Should have had this ready, but I didn't expect to be into the character view part of it today. So let's see. Yeah, here we go. All right. And we'll get into explanations for all this as we go along. We're going to go down here, and I'm just going to create a new div. I'm going to call this strength. And I'm going to get very basic with divs here. Let's see, value. All right, so what we're looking at here in general is HTML, but it's a, HTML by itself is kind of useless when you want to pull in dynamic data into it. So you have to have some way to do it. And SceneGrinder, we've iterated through a couple of different ways to do it. First, we used a templating language called handlebars. Now we're using Svelte. What it amounts to is all these ways, all these differently named things on the HTML, they layer on top of HTML, and all they do is reach into something and pull data in. And which, in this case, it's reaching into SceneGrinder and pulling data in from SceneGrinder. So up here, I pulled in a special SceneGrinder value called get, and I'm going to use get down here. It's just a function. If you have questions, we're going to expand this whole section about how to do this later. But I'm going to get the value of strength, and I can scroll down here for reference. Okay, and the value I want to get is ATTRS. That's our top level. STR, and we're going to pull in the value. So that's a dotted notation. So it's periods separating those values up here. And I'm going to show you how that works right here. So I want to get attrs dot strength dot value. Okay, I'm going to save it. And then without even refreshing, let's see, and I can't see my screen anymore because I have my from the right. All right, so you can see now that we have strength with a value of 0, so that means it didn't spell it. Well, it didn't find it. So why didn't it find it? Because I can't spell the word value. So we're going to change that, save it. All right, and we're going to go back. And as you can see, now we have value 14. All right. Oh, is it not hadn't been updated yet? Hold on.
Right.
Yep. Really? I can't see.
Okay, just not good.
Yep. Okay. So now they would have seen my voice in time with the camera switch.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting the video lagged with my voice. So probably, I don't know. Or I could just absolutely hit the wrong key and be talking about something that isn't on my screen at all because I'm learning how to do this. All right, so so the cool part about it is if you make a change to your HTML and you save it, it automatically changes on whatever character that you have pulled up. And you can lay your windows side by side, make your changes, see them happen in real time. And that's really handy. Now where that breaks down is if you inject a bug into it, a really bad critical bug, like you leave out the end of a div or something like that, your SceneGrinder's character view will change to an error, or it simply won't work at all. You have to go fix that thing and then send it back along, and it will update. We are working on ways to do your edits in Visual Studio, and when you save your file in Visual Studio, it updates your SceneGrinder character live and on the fly. We have that working in-house, but we're not going to release that until we work out all the security concerns with that. What a lot of people do on our team is they will edit their HTML in their favorite studio, or whatever we're big Visual Studio Code users here, and then they will copy paste it over into the SceneGrinder window and do it that way. Now, this editor that you have here is extremely robust. It is Visual Studio's editor, just without all the other complexity of Visual Studio around. So this is an extremely mature, robust editor here that does a lot. So you can work completely in this view if you want to, and if you don't want to deal with external editors and that kind of stuff. Yeah, thanks, Dark. Yeah, because Dark doesn't perceive any lag when we're doing this because my voice is in time with the video that's being broadcast with him. So yeah. Now it's when I miss a shortcut key switching my camera view when I'm talking about something that isn't on my screen. That's a problem, or when it freezes. So okay, so let's do a little more here. I don't like the fact that the value is under strength, so I'm going to just switch this to a span. And notice what I did there. Again, I'm used to Visual Studio, so I hit Control-D, and that gives me the ability to multi-edit, multi-select. So if you are an experienced developer, you've got a lot of power right here. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then over in the other view, you can see where my strength value popped up from underneath strength over here to next to it. I'm also going to delete the word value because it looks a little bit redundant. And now I'm also going to put in the expression. or the modifier that we use an expression to build. So I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to, again, this is pretty basic stuff here, HTML wise. Do that, and I'm going to cheat and put an unbreakable space here. And let's see here, and now we have the strength value and the modifier value. I'm going to get a little fancier, and I'm going to pull in another special SceneGrinder function called sign, S-I-G-N, for mathematical sign, plus minus. And I am going to let's see, do this, pull in from memory here. This may die the first time if I don't get it right. Save it. Oh, it did. I got it right. So let me go back here. And sign is just a shortcut to keep the HTML author from having to figure out whether, it's in role-playing games, you don't just see a 2, you see a +2 for modifiers, or a -2, or a -5, whatever it is. Sign automatically puts that plus or minus there, so you don't have to put in a lot of if logic with absolute value or anything like that to, or less than, greater than, to display the sign, or handle the 0 case, which isn't plus minus anything. So that's just a little shortcut key. And there are lots of little SceneGrinder helper functions, which we do have documented. And they are either out on our website, or I've lost my mind and they're not, in which case we need to put them out on our website. So we can get that, we'll get that out there for reference purposes pretty quickly, unless it's not already out there. Hell Pitchin, do you know if we've already put that documentation out there? Yes, and that save button is new. Hell Pigeon was saying, hey, that save button down there is new. And that is because it recently appeared. It might be temporary. We had it so that it auto saves whenever you leave the focus of the editor. But that was making it too easy to type a bunch of stuff accidentally because you thought you were in the window, a different window. And then now you've saved and you've broken everything for all your players because you put a WSDF series of keys in there and you didn't mean to. And for us, it's even worse, because if we make that kind of mistake in the templates that we're designing, not only do we break it for ourselves and our players, we're working with a master template sometime, we would break it for everybody's game and all those players right now. So that wasn't healthy, so we just threw that down there real quick. Yeah, it's about 3 weeks old. No, around there. Okay, so Dark, how you feeling right now as far as all this? We can go into some more advanced stuff. Let's see, what time we got? What do we? It's 5:30. Wow.
Time flies.
Holy cow! I can't believe it's 5:30. That's an hour and a half we've been babbling. While we're talking, I'm going to go ahead and, while we're waiting on Dark, I'm going to go ahead and copy this down and do the one for dexterity, just to demonstrate the point. And we're going to get into, let's see, yeah, Control S. Went ahead and added dexterity to this list, and all that was, yeah. Get into the edit stuff here. Yeah. Like a weight off my chest, says Dark. Yeah. That's fantastic. That's good to hear. Then since we're at an hour and a half, um, again, we didn't really think we were going to go into the whole character view side of it. That really is worthy of its own session. There's a lot you can get into, and we've done a lot, Dark, to make things easier on the HTML author. For instance, you'll just see where what I just did here. I copied and pasted strength down the meta dexterity section. Well, in order to fill out the full list of attributes, I'd have to copy and paste it 4 more times to get all the primary attributes of the character. We've made it so you don't have to do that. SceneGrinder has the ability to list through a collection, grab the name, and just in a loop spit out whatever's in that section. And we can get into showing you how to do that. We do have documentation on that. We also have a GPT plugin for ChatGPT that if you have ChatGPT Pro, then you can simply ask it questions. You can ask it, how do I build a template? What's the best way to list through a collection? How does this function work? How does that function work? And right now that's limited to the Pro ChatGPT people, and we're experimenting with other open source LLMs to get that kind of functionality out the door to everyone without having to have a Pro account. So obviously AI is changing every single day, so that's becoming more and more possible. Stay tuned. Meanwhile, there will be the pages. I think there is documentation pages out on our website right now for this. We'll post a link, and then I'm sure there are holes in that. And we'll take whatever feedback you want to throw in. Anyone wants to throw in, we'll explain things and expand it out, because sometimes we don't know what other people don't know, and we make assumptions. So we need to fill those in. We're happy to. So all this is true, by the way, for this is for building your own game system from scratch, like Dark is going to do, and I'm really hoping that we can make this a movement and help Dark build out Pathfinder 1. And then but this is also true if you just want to modify an existing game system. You don't like the way the character view works for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition or Fate, or maybe Dark will be so kind as to publish his gaming system out, and if he does that, maybe you want to change something in that. And so we've set it up so people who subscribe to someone else's game system, they can make their own changes without harming the original game system. So that works pretty well. Now, I also want, before we head out, those tables drive everything. Let's take Dungeons and Dragons, for instance, and it would be the same for Pathfinder. For instance, in Dungeons and Dragons, those tables control a list of spells. All the spells that are available in the SRD, 300 of them or something like that, and they sit there in a list, and the players can hit information and get all the information on the spells and all that kind of stuff, and that information drives the actions in any particular scene if they choose to use the the action flows. But the question comes up is, oh my gosh, what if I got my own list of spells and I want to add to that? I want to supplement the SRD with whatever module I own that I bought or that I made up with my own homebrew, and you can do that. You can put these tables of spells or whatever information out there, weapons, anything else. You can create your own version of that table in your particular game, and it will take the original list of spells, the original list of whatever it happens to be, weapons, and it will add and merge in your homebrew stuff with that source body of information. You can even mark it to take stuff away if you don't want to have players access to a fireball or something like that. I don't know. But that is also possible, and we'll get into videos on how to do that. It's pretty easy. You just copy the table and add your own data, stuff like that. So all right, I think we're going to wrap it up here, Dark. please hit us with questions. Hit Clay with questions. Hit me with questions. Hit Clay, who will hit me with questions. Clay being Hell Pigeon, sorry. And then we'll work it out from there, and give us some ideas on what you want to see next. I know we straddled the two kinds of things here, but let us know on where we can go with this. So until then, we're going to go ahead and sign off. I see we've got a handful of users watching us, so hi to you guys, and thanks for listening and watching, and we'll catch you guys later.